So here I am at Fort Tarsus. This is the kind of community center. Essentially, action acts similar to the tower in Destiny. I'm going to go over to one of these NPCs here, the Matthias, and this is a character who has, over the course of the storyline of Anthem, split himself into three different aspects of his personality. It's a really kind of cool idea. I'm going to talk to him. He's going to give me a quest.
You can't even take a dump in 1 minute.
It kept Moore one step ahead of the symposium,
And he stashed it away.
he must have known they'd get him once he did that.
But he did it anyway. Hero.
Are you talking about the Auspex? What does it actually do?
It reads the surrounding environment and calculates possible outcomes.
It predicts the future?
It predicts possible futures.
If you consider 1 minute from now to be the future, which I don't.
The greater the range, the greater the number of possibilities. Nothing can do that.
Do you know how to access this power?
Not yet, but we're investigating.
What about the symposium? Did you hear what their agent said? They're here, in the fort.
We heard.
There's nothing to be done about it now. We can't give up our work.
Besides, you're here. We know we can call on you for help.
Just be careful. And keep in touch. I want to see how this develops.
You're always the first to know.
And so essentially, they are setting up.
The work continues. Research, exploration, discovery. These are all things you can help with. I've got contracts ready and waiting, freelancer.
Missions we can do. And this is part of the main story of the game. I do this on Grandmaster 1, which is the first end-game difficulty. And the reason why I'm going to do that is to show you why Anthem is now at the point where it does actually have a functioning endgame loop, an exciting endgame loop. And this is before EA begins to work on Anthem next. So if you saw a video I did a few days ago, I was talking about, some of the concept art for Anthem next, and essentially the idea of rebooting Anthem and how that would function. There'd be changes to those menus I was just showing you, and the interfaces, and make it a lot easier to kind of go from that Fort Tarsus area out into these missions, potentially integrate the missions in the open world a little bit more, and kind of, have Anthem be, what it was supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be, this genre-defining, the Project Dylan, right? Bob Dylan. This is something that people will talk about. Well, that requires, obviously, work, and, there were a lot of problems that happened during Anthem's development that kind of meant that the game that ended up launching wasn't in, the shape that it needed to be in order to be critically successful. And for, take these load screens, for example. I'm running on a PS5, and this is still, a lot of time between, being given a mission, beginning a mission. Those are things that you can fix. The reason why I wanted to start with that little bit of story and kind of show that those characters is because those are characters that are developed over the course of the game. There's these two quest lines that those characters give you.
What are we up to, Maddie?
Rumor of cache of Arcanist field reports has come to my attention. I wish to follow up.
Okay, understood.
Interesting. Can I attack things underwater? Don't know how to attack things underwater. But yeah, this is this kind of... What the hell am I supposed to interact with this? Gear cannot be used whilst going underwater. Interesting. All the distraction. But, alright, so look at this. Look at this flying. You know, once you're actually out in the open world, this is actually a really beautiful looking game and functioning game. Right? And there were years when the developers of Bioware didn't actually, weren't dealing with flying around mechanics. They were dealing with walking around mechanics. So, years and years of concept artists and visual effects artists making all this down here on the ground look real pretty, and that's the reason why, you know, parts of it really stand up in terms of the look of it. Moreover, when you look at the flying mechanics, they're incredible. I'm playing on obviously a console. They're incredibly reactive, and you know, look at how beautiful that looks. And so I keep thinking about what would happen if, like, I think the idea that the servers for Anthem would be shut off is, I think that's an unrealistic outcome. I think especially after all of the positive news over the last kind of several weeks and the love for it, or the last several days since it was announced that they were getting to the end of the incubation period for Anthem Next. And I doubt that they're going to turn the servers off. But whether or not this is... Alright, look at that, right? Now I can fly.
This particular area has a high dangerous animal population.
I understand.
Up on that. Cool. You see, like this... There's a level in this in Destiny, but in terms of the level of speed at which I can move here, and this feels like I'm playing Doom Eternal. You know, this is incredibly, incredibly entertaining.
You're getting close, just a little.
And this is, as I said, I'm doing GM1. The Grandmaster 1 is something I've only just recently gotten to the end game, so I kind of came back after the announcement of the Anthem Next. I was like, I want to check to see what condition the game is in, right? Like, I'd finished the campaign, and if you look, you know, at the statistics of people who finished the campaign, it's about a third of players have done that. About a fifth of players have completed. About a fifth of the player base have completed what I'm doing now, which is these. You know, there's these different, you know, the Arcanists and the Sentinels, and these different groups within Fort Tarsus, and each of those kind of factions is the right word.
We'll need you to clear a site I've marked out for a group of researchers.
Got it. On my way.
But the people who exist at the fort, you know, each of them a Yarrow, who you go off and collect, you know, the stories of previous freelancers, these people flying around. Whoa, look at that. Look at that fucking jump, man. And then there's, you know, I'm doing this for Matthias, you know, these are researchers. And it's a very, there we go. Button on the other one must have been broken, so be. Anyways, boom. And look at that. Like, that's got verticality. Like, it's an insane amount of verticality. Like, if you think about the Division or even Destiny, like, you got the Tangled Shore of Destiny. You know, that's maybe something analogous to this kind of environment. A, I'd argue it doesn't really look as exciting. B, there's nowhere near this level of verticality, and your Guardian can kind of jump, and you can double jump, and all this kind of stuff, but look at this. Like, it's insane. And the idea that, like, as I said, you look at that loading screen, as I said, playing on a PS5, if you get 100 people within Electronic Arts to work on shortening those times, making the server client infrastructure faster, more efficient, more kind of reactive. Like say, for example, if I go into at launch, one of the things that you couldn't do, I'm going to go down here and show you something. You could only change your loadout at launch by, you're going to be chasing me, aren't you? Yep. Alright. By going into here, got the, you don't have it because I'm currently being shot at, but believe me, if I wasn't being shot at, you could see there's a menu to go into the forge, which you could only be able to do at Fort Sarsis. So if I pick up a weapon, I can essentially equip it, right? In the menu, which is something that you couldn't do at all at launch. But it's because of the way
You must do something.
that server client
Some wyvern arrived. Keep your head up.
I've got it.
infrastructure works, when I exit in and out of, or enter in and out of that menu, there's a huge lag as the server updates what my loadout is. So when I come back into the actual game, my freelancer has whatever gear I've changed it over to, and it's not seamless. And if you go to the Division, for example, you immediately changed over aesthetically as well, right? In terms of if a piece of armor has a different look from the piece of armor that you've changed it over from, that will immediately show on your character. That really is wyvern. Whereas, in this, you need that. It's a noticeable few seconds. Now, this is a bad example. Because I'm doing it in GM, I'm trying to keep myself alive while simultaneously talking and thinking. So I do apologise for these short digressions, but alas, whoa! Look at that, man. And look at how reactive those flying controls are. And I know that the game can't simply just be about the flying. But look at this. I come in. Boom! Look at that. Now the party's starting, right? So anyways, I can understand the rationale from a business perspective of thinking, well, this is a game that if we were to release an expansion for it, it would probably be a loss leader, right? In terms of, there's a very little excitement for Anthem as it kind of currently stands, right? Woo. And so coming out and going, well, we now have a new expansion, so let's say it's, I think the latest Destiny expansion is 40 Australian dollars. I think the last Division expansion was maybe $35, $40, right? Given the fact that there's been this negative reception to the original game, and you don't have this massive group of people who are chomping at the bit for more content, it's very hard for EA, BioWare, to come out and go, well, we've finally made this game that we advertised 3-4 years ago, the game that you wanted. Pay us more money.
Very well done.
But if they released a content expansion,
I have something else for you not too far away. I want to make sure an area is safe before my colleagues make camp. Can you assist?
that is well received.
Scars are overtaking this area. Dangerous things.
And potentially leads to people buying things in a microtransaction store, similar to a lot of other online games. They probably make probably break even on the development cost and set themselves up to make money down the line, where you go, okay, well, the first taste is free. This is Anthem next. This is Anthem, Casey Hudson and the team of people, over the years iterating this, that, the other thing. The best version of this universe that they can come up with.
The violent horror of the scars getting closer.
Whoa!
Carnage, no doubt.
Surprise, motherfucker! And just Destiny, I get it, man. I understand why people are addicted to Destiny. I get it, man. But, the gunplay in this is nowhere near as reactive. But the level of, the speed of the encounters is awesome. Oh, that was quick. The levers are over, and you get in and you just, bam, this is one interceptor, right? This is one of the javelins. There's a lot of variety in the game, and I understand completely why getting rid of these loading screens, and this is dull to a degree. Getting rid of all of this at a great cost to the company, may not have a return on investment. It's a very difficult market conditions as a result of COVID and stuff. But EA as a broader company is making a lot of money from, people being at home, using that extra money to fucking shore up Anthem as an IP. To me, it seems like a no-brainer. Look at how fucking cool that looks. Anyways, it's cool, it's fun. You should, if you own Anthem, reinstall it. Or if you see a cheap copy of it, buy it. Because it's completely worth it. Anyways, I'm going to go and load him for a GM2 Stronghold. Maybe I will find somebody, but if I don't, I will probably do something else. But you too, if you reinstall Anthem, you can load up in a queue to do a Grandmaster 2 and play. We can play together as comrades in Anthem. Anyways, multitasking, trying to play and do these videos. I did this this is the same thing in my defensive nuclear winter video. There we go. No GM2. Let's see if there's a GM3. Let's do crazy shit. Whoa, that sound isn't at all creepy. But yeah. It's pretty cool.